Hello. Thanks so much for joining me. We're going to discuss practical tips for foreigners in Uganda. And today's subject, I'm going to specifically talk about some very simple words that can help you get along, and also some specific words that you can use in church and in a spiritual background, okay? So that was thunder, but it's okay. Everybody's safe. So I want to start out by saying that when you try words in the language, they really appreciate it. It makes them so happy. It makes them smile so big. And so you should at least try a word or two because it really makes an impact, okay? So I'm going to start with one that I think all of us can do, and don't overthink it. When I first started learning Luganda, I really was overthinking trying to make everything perfect because it's kind of like my personality. So I'm not going to spell anything for you. I'm just going to say it so that you won't overthink it. If you see how it's spelled, you're going to get a little confused because although the Luganda uses letters that you recognize, they aren't used in the same way. So I'm just going to speak. And truthfully, you should try because it does really, even if you mess it up, it makes them so happy. And I can imagine that it's the same for us. If we had a foreigner come to our country and they tried our language, even if they messed it up, it would make us happy. So the most important one that I can think of that's the easiest, that you can use absolutely everywhere, is the word for thank you. Thank you is a word that is used frequently and in so many situations, and the word in Luganda for thank you is a very easy word. The word is webale. Let me say it again because my accent is going to always be a little off because I'm American and I'm not Ugandan, but I'm going to do my best. Webale. And maybe let me try and slow it down just a little bit for you to try and catch it. Webale. As long as you try, you'll get it. And don't worry about how it's spelled because that's going to mess you up. Webale. It just means thank you. Anybody can smile at you or shake your hand or try to say hello. In this language, it's oliotia, or it can be other variations of that. And webale goes so far because it's one word. It's not so hard to say. And they so appreciate, the people who live here so appreciate that you're trying to understand their culture. And like I said, I think that that's universal. So a couple other words for people who are going to be doing ministry here that will really go a long way when you're talking with people. This word is the word for Jesus, and it's Yesu. See how easy that is? So easy. Yesu. That's it. So easy, right? And then another word that you can use in church or you're in a spiritual setting, you can use mukama. Mukama. That's Lord. Katonda. I actually really find Katonda very easy because it reminds me of like king. Katonda means God. You see, here we go. Yesu, Jesus, Mukama, Lord, Katonda, God. Very easy. Very, very easy. And then one that's a little more complicated, the word for Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit's like really easy in my language, but it's a little more complicated in Uganda, and that would be Omoyo Omutukuvu. I know, sounds scary, right? Sounds like it's really long. But all you have to do is listen for a word that has a couple O's in it, and you'll know when you're in church that they're talking about the Holy Spirit. So I'm going to say that again. Omoyo Omutukuvu. And I'm close. I'm sure I'm a tiny bit off, but I'm as close as I'm going to get. Of course, there's also Mukama Yebazibwe, and that means let God be thanked. And if you can master that one, everybody will go crazy. And the way that the born again greets here in Uganda is Yesu Yebazibwe. And so I'm going to say that again. Yesu Yebazibwe. So if you can master that, then you'll really impress people. But the most important one really is webale, because you can use that pretty much anywhere. It's just thank you. And then, of course, there is Yesu, which means Jesus. Two very important things. So even if you can't use any of the other ones I told you about, those two will go very far for you. Very, very far for you. And so I think it's important for you to note that there's over 300 dialects here in Uganda, and that in Kampala, a lot of people speak English. Most people speak English, and in Tebe, they speak English. A lot of people in Mukano speak English. You can find English speakers in Barara, in Fort Portal, in Kasese, in Hoima, a lot of English speakers. But when you're moving around the country, for instance, if you go to Western Uganda, you're going to find a lot of Ankole language, and it's a little different from Uganda. Like in Luganda, I would say Mukama Yebezibwe, but in Ankole, I would say Mukama Asimwe. So it's similar, but it's different. And there's so many languages. It would be impossible to know all of them, because you go up northern Uganda, it's completely different. And I can't even tell you what it is, even though I've taught there, because it's totally different. But you can hear a difference in the way people speak, like their tone is different, and then the emphasis is different. But if you can just master Webale, which is thank you, and Yesu, which is Jesus, even that is enough, right? That is enough to get people cheering, because you're at least trying. And even if you mess it up, so what? Everybody appreciates that you try. So when it comes to the languages here in Uganda, if you only speak English, you're going to be fine if you're in town, because English speakers are everywhere. People in Parliament all speak English. People all over town speak English. It's when you start going into the villages that you're not going to find it so much. But as long as you're moving with somebody who translates, then you should be fine, because even though Luganda is really a Buganda language, which is more central, you can still move with somebody who speaks Luganda even into Western Uganda and Northern Uganda and still be able to understand each other. So I think that you should enjoy the language and give it a try. Give it a try and see what happens. I think you'll be surprised at how well you can speak it. And then, of course, as I always say, feel free to private message me if you have any questions, or you want to show me that you've done it. Like, I'll cheer you on, no problem. And in the meantime, I think what I would like to say is be aware, be safe, and please enjoy your time in Uganda.